Foundation, we understand what you are going through, and we are here to help. Our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all. We work every day to eliminate stigma, combat mental illness and substance use disorders, and advance mental health. If you or someone you love needs help, you are not alone. Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
What's the ox say?
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox, right away hear the news of the day as it unfolds and how Minnesota Democrats' fake town halls are going statewide. At 4:06, hear what beer Ray has picked out, then hear fellow Ox listeners' Why Nots on Why Not Wednesday with the Boulder Tap House. Father Scott Pogachnik wraps up the show, reminding us what the traditions of Holy Week actually mean. Tune in to Hot Talk with the Ox today from 2 to 5 on KBRF.
What's the ox say?
You like saving money, right? Well, we've got great opportunities at FergusFallsDeals.com. Log on and check out all the products and services available. Great values and low prices. We've got great automotive specials like tires from Fergus Fastlane, oil changes from Quality Toyota and Fergus Fastlane, and Splash Express Car Wash, and auto body repairs from Unique Body Paint and Repair. Log on to set up your account now at FergusFallsDeals.com.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
Good Wednesday. Oh, that's a little hot. Good Wednesday morning. It is 11 after 9. Hoping everybody's having a beautiful start to your day. Currently sitting in at 43 degrees.
All right. It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
I know. We've made it to middle of the week
It's my
already.
third Monday in a row.
Yeah, third Monday in a row. Do you know what? I talked to so many people yesterday, it seems, that we're having Mondays on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff that goes wrong on Monday just continued into Tuesday. And yeah, you've been busy.
Yeah.
But doing games, and you had a baseball game yesterday, 2 games, doubleheader.
Softball
softball.
doubleheader yesterday, and
Okay.
that field is not built for broadcasting.
Okay, and where was that?
At the softball field.
Okay, so
It's the softball field that's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
I don't even know where that is.
It's kind of over by Farmers and Legion
yes,
Field.
I do too.
They've got a special field that's
Yes.
for the Otter hockey or the Otter softball team. Yeah, so
Yep, I do know where that is. Well, there was a lot of baseball going on yesterday, baseball and softball,
Yep.
and you did a doubleheader along with Jason, right?
Yep, Jason Retzoff and I were out there. It
Okay.
was
It was cold.
It was cold. It was windy. We were basically sitting in the bleachers trying to do the game, and yeah, the camera kept focusing on the chain link fence, and it was.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, those are hard things to do, and we're kind of just we're sort of new to all of this too, and you guys have really done a great job at learning how to use all that equipment. I'm glad that I've told you many times that I'm all done learning, and so yeah, so I don't have to learn any of that new technology. That's just great. That sounds good to me. Okay, so
I'm familiar with it because I use it every day for this show.
Right, exactly. Okay, so I sent you a picture this morning.
Yes.
Remember, some of you might remember, a few weeks back when, in fact, we were talking about shopping and how people were getting caught up in ordering things online that they see on Facebook and that sort of thing. And during the break, I got caught up online and I bought this crock pot thing, and it's 2 liners that are that silicone stuff. They're completely collapsible, and then you put them together inside the crock pot so you can have two different things in the same crock pot. So this morning I thought, I've not used them yet. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give it its maiden voyage today. So I have meatballs and gravy in one side and mashed potatoes on the other. So now is it on camera now?
Yep. If they're watching the stream, if you can go to it, and I've got it right up on.
Okay.
It's easiest to put it on my camera, so she
Right.
texted me. So.
Right. And it's really slick. Now, if you're not watching this morning, of course, you can imagine imagine an oval cut in half, and then there's two pieces. They're silicone. They fit together inside. I think it's a 7-quart crock pot.
Yeah, it looks like two little baskets.
Yeah.
2 silicone baskets.
And it keeps, so you can have two things in the same crock pot. Tonight I have, Wednesday nights, we always have grandkids that come between practice and youth group and need a quick meal. And so I always have something in the crock pot. And I didn't really need enough for 2 crock pots. So why dirty up 2 crock pots when you can just do one?
Genius.
And then you just lift it out of there. It's like a crock pot liner, so you don't have to watch. You don't necessarily have a big mess in your crock pot.
You just gotta wash your 2 liners.
Yeah, and just so you know, they are completely collapsible, and so when they are collapsed and stacked on top of each other, they use about 4 inches of my stove drawer. I fit them inside another fry pan, so they take up no room. So, maiden voyage tonight. If they don't melt and, mix with the food tonight, I think it'll be a win. So, we'll see how that goes. But that silicone you can put in the oven. So, I would think the crock pot is going to they'll withstand the crock pot. So, anyway, I think it was a genius during the break buy online. And yes, I do get caught up in those kinds of things. I love kitchen gadgets. So my deal now is I'm going to get several of those because I think they'll make really cool gifts.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good gift.
I have a couple of friends that I get together with, and usually it's a Christmas thing, but we give what we call our favorite things.
Yeah.
So there's 3 of us, so I order 2 of my favorite things and give them each one of my favorite things, and then they do the same.
And last year was the Brother Coffee mug, right? Or the fellow.
Last year was the fellow coffee mug.
Yep.
And this year, I don't think either of them tune into the show, so I can tell you what it is. My new favorite thing from this year is a covered charcuterie board.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yep, it's got a dome on it, and it snaps at the side.
You got to send photos of that,
Yeah, I'll have to send photos of that, too. And it works so slick because you can make your whole charcuterie board. You can arrange it all, just like you want it. And then you can put this dome top, and you can even have like little bowls with crackers or fruit or, candies or whatever you want to include. They even fit under that dome. So it's all ready to go. You snap the top on and it goes down the road with you. So
I'm always a fan. I've moved on from the charcuterie board, and I now use the Snackle box.
We do that on the boat.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think this charcuterie board is going to be perfect for the boat too.
Okay.
So anyway, that's one of my new favorite things. I got one as a gift for Christmas, and I thought this is genius. So I went on the hunt and found a couple more. And you can buy them in all kinds of shapes and sizes, and some have dividers and some don't. You can order them any way you want, and you can find them. And I know, in fact, I went to the market yesterday because that's where mine came from. And they said that they were so popular that every time they get them in, they sell out. And they're expecting some more of them maybe as early as this week. So I'm going to keep popping in there and taking a look. That's another thing to have on hand. They're not super expensive, and I don't know. I always kind of like having a few gifts kind of, tucked away because
you can use at a moment's notice.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this crock pot liner thing, it's just and they were cheap. I think they were, I don't know, $16 or $17, something like that. So you don't have to put a boatload into it. But I've got a couple of sister-in-laws who really, really love kitchen gadgets. So I'm going to make sure that each one of them get a set of those too. But I thought since I'm using it this morning, I took the photo, and for those of you who are watching this morning, you got to see what that looks like. Well, a couple of news stories. This is the latest about autism. Autism cases in the U.S. are on the rise. They're saying that 1 in 31 children have some sort of the disorder at age 8. Now, this was a 2022 stat, and up from 2 years previous. But 1 in 31.
Here's my take on it. I've heard a lot of people saying that it's because of our food, it's because of our vaccines, it's because this, it's because that. I think we're just better at diagnosing it.
Well,
we understand it better, and we can diagnose it better. I think that's what's going on.
There is something to that. Now, whether or not we are having stuff in our food that is adding to that, and I know they have completely, they say, dispelled the whole vaccination thing. I don't know if I completely buy into that. But anyway.
I think it's just they're better at diagnosing it.
But absolutely, they are better at diagnosing it. And so they're looking for it.
Yeah.
Where they didn't used to do that. You would wait till there was a symptom or something was wrong, and then you'd bring your child in. So there may be, I suppose there's cases where it never gets diagnosed if it's not a real serious case. So anyway, they're trying to decide what is going on here. Despite disparities in prevalence among racial groups, experts attribute the increase, as you mentioned, to better awareness and access to screening. And of course, they're trying to debunk any claims of autism epidemic because, well, it depends. It depends on who you're talking to and what that narrative is.
Yeah.
So anytime you say epidemic, it's like, and we can say an epidemic of measles, but we can't say an epidemic of autism.
Plus, the stigma around autism has obviously changed throughout the years
absolutely.
too. So I think it's better diagnosis. Parents looking for it earlier on. They know what to look for, and the stigma is gone. If your kid's autistic, your kid's autistic.
And there's so much
nothing
help
wrong
out
with
there.
that.
Right, exactly. All right, let's see what else. Starbucks is updating its dress code for their employees, focusing on its iconic green aprons. The new policy, effective in May, requires a black shirt and khaki, black, or blue denim pants to highlight the apron. Okay.
To highlight the apron.
Yeah, who cares? Anyway, the company aims for a consistent experience across North American stores. So right down to the clothing. And that's okay. I mean, if you work someplace and there's a uniform, you wear the uniform.
Yep.
Not a big deal. Anyway, they're facing criticism now for prioritizing uniforms over employees' well-being. Are we challenging is their well-being being challenged by making them wear khaki or denim and a black shirt?
One of my absolute favorite
what is
videos.
Wrong with that?
I know you hate viral videos, but one of my absolute favorite ones was a Starbucks employee crying and bawling because his mean manager scheduled for him for a 7-hour shift.
Oh,
How is he
dear.
supposed to be at work for 7 straight hours?
Unbelievable.
And the guy was losing it, and they're just like, yep, this is what's wrong with Gen Z.
Well, now they are saying, employee well-being is at stake because they are required to wear a black shirt and one of 3 colors pants. Oh, my goodness.
I think employee paychecks might be at stake.
Shapers, who cares? Anyway, all right, an Indiana mother faces charges. Oh, boy, this is where people behave badly. She brought a gun to her daughter's school and threatened a lesbian teacher over an assignment involving same-sex relationships. Okay, so if I'm mom, I'm going to be upset about curriculum that talks about same-sex relationships.
You don't bring a gun.
I'm just gonna, but I'm certainly not going to march in there with a gun. Anyway, she was arrested for possession of a firearm on a school property and harassment. She made threatening comments to the teacher, was found with the gun on campus. Now, regardless of what you believe,
Do not bring a gun to school.
Well, right. And if your kid has a lesbian teacher, maybe you don't agree, but not for us to judge.
She's the teacher.
But she's the teacher. However, if she crosses that line and teaches something about being a lesbian, then she's gonna hear from me.
Yeah, but without a gun.
But without a gun, and not in class.
Yeah.
Outside the class. Anyway, so yeah, people don't know where to draw the line anymore.
You always draw the line if you have to grab a gun. If you have to grab a gun, say no.
Yeah,
Maybe
don't
we're
do it.
stepping over the bounds here.
Exactly. And the Trump administration is demanding an apology from Harvard University. Well, I would say keep on waiting because I don't think they're going to hear that anytime soon. They have frozen $2.2 billion in grants, citing concerns about anti-Semitism on campus. They want Harvard to eliminate diversity programs, ban masks at protests, and ensure that their hiring process is merit-based. The administration is also considering taxing on Harvard.
Ooh,
So,
losing that
and the
nonprofit.
The hits just keep coming. And one more story before we head to the break. Back to Gene Hackman and his wife's death. Remember we were talking about hantavirus?
Yep.
Evidence of rodents, including nests and dead rodents, were found in outbuildings near at the New Mexico home of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, who died from hantavirus. Medical reports suggest that Arakawa, who is 65, contracted the disease. It's a pulmonary syndrome, and she died a week before her 94-year-old husband, who had advanced Alzheimer's disease. Environmental assessment revealed that rodent activity in the outbuildings, while the main house was clean. The couple's bodies were discovered in February. Gene Hackman's cause of death was attributed to severe heart disease, with Alzheimer's impairing his awareness of his wife's passing and then how to continue caring for himself. So that's an update on that deal. All right. Do political views impact trust in science? We'll talk about that when we come back on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
What's the ox say?
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox, right away hear the news of the day as it unfolds and how Minnesota Democrats' fake town halls are going statewide. At 4:06, hear what beer Ray has picked out, then hear fellow Ox listeners' Why Nots on Why Not Wednesday with the Boulder Tap House. Father Scott Pogachnik wraps up the show, reminding us what the traditions of Holy Week actually mean. Tune in to Hot Talk with the Ox today from 2 to 5 on KBRF.
What's the ox say?
It's grilling season. Time to go through the checklist to make sure you're set. Let's see. Grill gates clean. Lighter ignition works. Propane tank is full. Maybe. When it comes to grilling, there are no maybes. Time to refill or exchange your propane tank from Olson Oil Express. You can either exchange your tank or have their staff refill your tank for you. And now that you know your grill tank is ready for cooking, have you checked your camper tanks? I didn't think so. Olson Oil Card Express, West Lincoln, Fergus Falls.
Keeping you company out on the lakes. The Minnesota Twins and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF.
Well, after a 6-3 victory last night, the Twins have a chance to win a series today against the New York Mets. Hey, everybody, it's Chris Shadowberry. Join me alongside Glenn Perkins as David Festa takes the hill. We're on the air at 11:30 with our pregame lineup card, 12:10 first pitch. Twins-Mets rubber match on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
I once booked a venue that was a logistical nightmare. Too far from the hotels and too hard to find. It made our entire event feel rushed and stressful. That's when I decided to try the Bigwood Event Center. Being right off the interstate and a hotel on site It made travel easy for everyone. They took care of all the setup and cleanup, letting me focus on my presentation instead of the details. It made our event run so much smoother, and I'll never go back to the old way. Meetings with Impact begin at bigwoodeventcenter.com.
With its increased efficiency and lower fuel costs, ag producers know that propane is better for their bottom line. And now, participating in the Propane Farm Research Program can impact your bottom line. Share your propane equipment performance data, and you can receive compensation like up to $5,000 towards towable generators and generators for backup power, and up to $2,000 for propane building heat systems. To take advantage of all the ways propane is better for your bottom line, start your application today at propane.com/PFRP.
Protect your livelihood with a livestock risk protection policy through Egg Country Farm Credit Services. With an LRP policy, you're covered if the market price unexpectedly drops for fed cattle, feeder cattle, or swine. Coverage options range from 70 to 100%. Get an LRP policy from a team that knows agriculture. Contact your local Egg Country office to learn more. Egg Country, focused on ag, focused on you. Egg Country is an equal opportunity lender and provider.
Markets this hour brought to you by Ag Country Farm Credit Services, a customer-owned cooperative.
Good morning. Market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Grain markets continuing to trade higher. We're seeing soybeans 7 to 10 higher, corn's 4 to 5 higher, and wheat markets 5 to 6 higher. Country futures analyst Darrell Holliday says weather and demand driving the grains.
A lot of uncertainty about how far west that will go, whether you're talking about the northern plains or the southern plains or central plains or the west. And if it fails, if it lines up way too far east, then you certainly haven't helped the wheat in a lot of areas, in the winter wheat, I should say. And that I think is, we kind of built some pretty hefty rains into the wheat market and pressured it earlier in the week. So some of that coming back here. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, because I think the models are just so different and they change so much. And I do think the pattern changes, and I do think there'll be quite a bit of moisture, and I think it'll be there. So that's one. The second one, I think, is just the overall good export market, corn export market, just for the U.S., just continues to be really quite solid.
Livestock trade expecting better cash markets.
Chule lists are up a little bit in the south, but they're down in the north, and the packers didn't get enough cattle bought last week. And I think with the firmer, I think the beef, seasonal appreciation of beef, we're just really getting into tighter numbers. And I think in the end, that's going to push cash higher. And I think the market's starting to anticipate that. We've kind of seen it all week. Of course, we do have a cattle and feed report out tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock, but the market doesn't care about it. It cares about the front-end cash fundamentals. They still look really quite solid. And I think the same is true in the hogs.
You're listening to the Red River Farm Network.
Minnesota Farm Bureau is an advocate for agriculture driven by member policy. Minnesota Farm Bureau President Dan Glessing is our guest. Dan, you recently took a group of farmers on a trip to Washington, D.C. to meet with lawmakers. What were the major issues you discussed?
Well, certainly Farm Bill, and you hate to keep beating that drum, but when you look at this economic assistance that was passed in December, as a reminder that enrollment is open, so farmers haven't gotten into their FSA office, they should do so. But obviously that was passed in December. Obviously with reconciliation going on, there might be an opportunity to move some of the budgetary. There's been talks in D.C. about splitting up the Farm Bill and doing the budgetary items in reconciliation and then tackling the other more policy type things when we want to think about like a solution to Prop 12. That would be one of the policy items that could come later, to get that out of the way in reconciliation and hit the policy stuff later.
Find out more at fbmn.org.
Farm Rescue makes sure that you aren't alone. They're there to extend the hand and to take the burden.
Even the most independent farmers need help sometimes, and asking for that help is protecting the future. Farm Rescue provides equipment and volunteers free of charge to assist in times of crisis. We're currently accepting applications for planting and haying assistance. If you or someone you know could use our help, call 701-252-2017 or visit farmrescue.org today.
The Red River Farm Network is reporting agriculture's business with the markets, farm news, and weather information you need each and every day.
Again, hats off to you, Don, and the Red River, what you guys do, connecting your listeners to what's happening and people and telling stories. You guys are doing an awesome job at it, so thank you.
That's Greg Peterson, better known as Machine Repeat. The Red River Farm Network can be heard from Worthington to War Road, from Bismarck to Bemidji, 23 radio stations, and online at rrfm.com.
May wheat Minneapolis 6 cents higher, 607 1/4. Chicago May wheat's up 4 3/4. Kansas City May wheat 5 1/4 higher. May corn 4 1/4 higher, 485 1/2. December corn 3 3/4 higher, 468. May soybeans 6 3/4 higher, 1042 3/4. November soybeans 5 1/2 higher, 1035 1/4. May canola in Winnipeg 560 a metric ton higher, 674.50 Canadian. June live cattle up 207, 201.87. August is up $1.72. May feeder cattle $1.45 higher at 283.97. August up $1.32. May lean hogs are $1.80 higher at $90. June 220 higher. Dow Jones Industrial average down 198 points. This is the Red River Farm Network.
You want to feel important. You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and that can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We felt that way too. I am Sergeant First Class David Crow from Farmington, Minnesota, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Minnesota Army National Guard soldiers. We're people just like you, and together we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit nationalguard.com/MN to find out more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
How far would you drive for a great deal?
47.
61.
44.
I drove 89 miles. Customers go many extra miles for their quality Toyota. Sienna, Camry, Avalon, all come standard with the quality Toyota no haggle, no hassle price guarantee. View the bottom line price online before you drive, because that's the price you'll pay. Quality Toyota. What's your number? West Lincoln Avenue in Fergus Falls or at qualitytoyota.net. Let's go places.
Keeping you company out on the lakes. The Minnesota Twins and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF.
Well, after a 6-3 victory last night, the Twins have a chance to win a series today against the New York Mets. Hey, everybody, it's Chris Shadowberry. Join me alongside Glenn Perkins as David Festa takes the hill. We're on the air at 11:30 with our pregame lineup card, 12:10 first pitch. Twins-Mets rubber match on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Stop sprinkling your ad budget around hoping for results. Make a splash with Leighton Media. Our company has over 60 years of history and a team with over 100 employees, all strongly vested in your business success. With a strategic media approach, we optimize every investment you make with your marketing dollars to make them work better than ever. Ready to make an impact? Connect with Leighton Media today. Our team is ready to work for you. Leighton Media, your success starts here.
Community is important, and you'll find it at Pioneer Point. Spacious apartments, thoughtfully designed for older adults, provide the best in senior living. Heated parking and elevator access makes life easy. Your neighbors at Pioneer Point hold a welcoming, family-like approach to living. Choosing from an array of special features and options, you'll find many ways to define your lifestyle at Pioneer Point. Call or schedule your tour online today at pioneercare.org.
It's grilling season. Time to go through the checklist to make sure you're set. Let's see. Grill gates clean. Lighter ignition works. Propane tank is full. Maybe. When it comes to grilling, there are no maybes. Time to refill or exchange your propane tank from Olson Oil Express. You can either exchange your tank or have their staff refill your tank for you. And now that you know your grill tank is ready for cooking, have you checked your camper tanks? I didn't think so. Olson Oil, Card Express, West Lincoln, Fergus Falls. Don't wait until your garage door sounds like this. Easy Open Garage Doors here to help. Whether you're in need of repair or a new opener, or maybe it's just time to replace the whole door. Make it easy and give Easy Open Garage Door a call, 770-DOOR.
News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. Currently sitting in at 43 and a 9:38. Mary, have you ever tried to do something way faster than you should have and it backfired?
All the time. all the time.
I was trying to make coffee. First off, we were out of coffee, so I had to run back to the cupboard to grab some more.
Yeah.
Opened it up, used the scoop, and I'm trying to do it as fast as I can. And I somehow managed to scoop like half the grounds into my current coffee cup.
So
I got a bunch of
chewing your coffee.
So I get a bunch of floaters sitting on my coffee now.
Oh, yuck. You're
Yeah.
going to see specks in your teeth later on today.
Yeah. And then, of course, I got to clean up the mess and try to get the coffee going.
Okay, so here's the other thing I do when I'm in a hurry. Not only try to do things too fast, but do multiple things kind
At
of
the same time, yeah.
simultaneously. And that never works. I look like a chicken with a head cut off running around kind of thing. And you do a little of this and a little of that, and you don't really accomplish either one very quickly. One thing at a time, slow down. Yeah. Oh, I'm famous for that kind of stuff. And it always ends badly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. So now you don't have coffee to drink?
Well,
I'm sorry.
I've got chewy coffee until 10 o'clock when I can go back in.
Okay.
That's
okay.
if the engineers don't knock out all the coffee, because Tony and Al are here. So they're
Oh,
working
they drink
on
a lot of coffee, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tony's like, is there coffee? And I'm like, I just polished it off. I'm like, I can make more.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I'm sending you good vibes on the coffee deal. Okay. Do political views impact your trust in science?
I think you will find some people have an overabundance of trust in science in some political parties, and then others are skeptical in other parties.
Boy, I tell you what, skepticism has become my middle name, and I'm sorry to say that, but that's just how it is. I don't believe anything I see, hear, read. I see these. I used to get sucked into stories, and then I'd go ahead and tell that story. But in reality, it wasn't even close to true.
Yeah.
In fact, I just read an interesting article, and I'll have to try to find it again. But it's about the truth, and I'm using air quotes if you're not watching, because truth is really hard to come by these days. And it talks about the lies that we're told and which ones we choose to believe, and it's really interesting. But again, skepticism, and I think a certain amount of it is okay today because you have to be a little skeptical. Well, anyway, while the majority of Americans respect science, a new study shows that those who are politically conservative tend to trust science less, or the scientists, maybe. Researchers from the University of Amsterdam observed 7,800 American participants. They found that conservatives have less faith in scientific fields, even in non-political subjects like math. They write that the gap is problematic because it breeds polarization and hinders the success of scientific solutions. Absolutely, I totally, that's a true statement. We don't believe anything anymore because
we've been lied to so much.
We've been lied to so many times. Researchers say that building trust across political divides, good luck. I would love to see that happen. That could require more communication and engaging with people's worldviews. Sadly, I hate to say this, but I think we're well beyond that.
Yeah.
I don't see us building political trust, building trust with each other across those political divides, because I don't think those political divides will ever be closer together. I think we will always be divided. Don't you? I mean, that sounds so cynical, but that's how I feel.
I think there will always be political divides, and you are going to always have. It used to be kind of like, okay, fringe 10 on each side, and they're going to stick their fingers in and just not do anything. That 10% on each side has grown to at least 15 to 20% on each side now.
Yeah, it's really gotten tough, and we've talked many times on this show about when you don't agree, it's how you behave over that disagreement that really makes the difference.
Got to put your big boy panties on.
You do, and I think
can't bring a gun to school.
Oh boy, and we've talked so many times about our trying to bring other people over to your way of thinking, and
that's just not going to happen
and
anymore.
It won't happen anymore. I think you're absolutely right. So not only are you wasting your breath, but you could be jeopardizing friendships, and I know sometimes I have a quick finger to reply to something, and then I think, whoa, why don't you just chew on that for a day or so? I've sometimes, that's why I'm trying to teach myself, because I can, you know, provide a retort pretty quickly sometimes. And if it's not well thought out, then I wish I hadn't said it or typed it.
I do the, is this worth my time? When it comes to replies,
Yes,
it's like,
yes.
is this going to do anything, or is this just going to waste of my time?
Or will I change anything? But sometimes, and this is maybe with regard to Facebook, do you ever have somebody provide some kind of comment on something that you've posted that just seems, I don't know if unkind or just unnecessary, maybe that's a better word, that comment was just unnecessary?
I don't really post any political content. And
Well,
I mean,
no, but not even political content. But somehow you get a comment that is politically charged to something that is just a nice post in my eyes.
On my personal page, no, I don't get too much of that. I mean, my friends, I've got friends way left, I got friends way right.
I do too.
And they know that that's not what I want to deal with.
Yeah, but sometimes they step across the line.
They'll step across the line on their page, but not on mine.
Okay, well, you're lucky. Anyway, I just think, so sometimes, you know, those kinds of things spark like a reaction in me, like, are you kidding me? Can you just be nice? Can you just let this be a nice post and just leave it alone? But some people have to weigh in. I tell you what, I have seen some reactions to some other people's posts on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And then you'll see many reaction, and the comments just keep coming, and they keep getting meaner and meaner and meaner. And I just think, oh my goodness, just slow your roll. I mean, just go have a cup of coffee, go sit outside, take your dog for a walk, just get away from your phone for a little bit if you
those
feel like
flame
that.
wars or troll wars,
It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Okay, speaking of terrible, here's a guy. He's from Scotland. He has he suffered from hearing loss, and so he's been seeking medical attention. While he thought he was going deaf, he soon discovered there was a cause. After taking antibiotics, he felt a surge of pressure in the side of his head one night. I thought my ear had ruptured. Then I felt something small and hard sort of pop out of my ear.
Ew.
The object was a tiny pink Lego.
You don't think doctors would have noticed that?
Well,
hey, Ted, you got a Lego in there.
I know. Maybe he didn't go to the doctor until,
Well, he's on antibiotics.
Well, right. Clearly they didn't do any imaging. Anyway, he said, I don't remember sticking the brick in my ear. Well, wow. But however it got there, he said, I reckon it was lodged there for the best part of 20 years. His hearing is now returned to normal.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. How does that happen? How does a Lego get into your ear? Unless you put it there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you don't trip and fall on a Lego and it goes in your ear.
No.
You have to put it there. Oh my goodness. There's a lot more to that story, I think, that we don't know. Okay, how about this one? Researchers in Canada have found that when seniors spread out their protein intake throughout the day, they maintain better muscle strength. So that will be me in my case. If I'm trying to maintain muscle strength, which I am, I need to spread out my protein throughout the day. So maybe I need to grab a whole bunch of those protein bars and just take, you know, a half of it now, half of it later, that kind of thing. I don't know what the best way to do that is. Or, you know, get some, start eating spinach, raw spinach in the middle of the day.
I love spinach.
I do too. I really do. Anyway, what could this mean for meal prepping as you age? Those loading up on protein at dinner might want to consider eating more protein throughout breakfast and lunch to help maintain muscle strength in their senior years. So if you, like me, are trying to maintain muscle strength, I'm, you know, lifting light weights when I can.
You know what has a lot of protein in it?
What?
Peanut butter.
Oh,
You know,
I
it
could
has
eat the
peanut
whole
butter.
jar.
Uncrustables.
Reese's peanut butter
And
cups.
Reese's peanut butter cups. Reese's peanut butter cups and Uncrustables.
There it is.
For your win.
Yes, lunch and dessert right there. Oh boy, that sounds good. Yeah, there's a lot of things that have protein. I mean, and we don't have to buy a protein bar or take a protein shake. But I don't mind having some of those as backup. You know, sometimes
I like protein bars.
Yeah, and I'll run out of the house in the morning, and it's nice to just grab something like that. So, you do get that little burst of protein. But
I grab a V8 and a Uncrustable.
all right, well, there you go. You're set, I think. All right, this is such a cute story, and I actually saw the video, and I would encourage you to go find it because it's really cute. The San Diego area had a 5.2 magnitude earthquake on Monday morning, and footage captured elephants at the San Diego Zoo encircling their young to protect them. It's the cutest thing. Animals are so cool, and they know, they instinctively know when they have to protect themselves or their young. Video taken at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park shows older elephants shielding two 7-year-old calves. Elephants have the unique ability to feel sounds through their feet and formed what they know as what is known as an alert circle or a safety circle. The animals dispersed once they felt everyone was safe. So they feel the rumbling in their feet and they automatically form this protective shield around their babies. Isn't that a cool story?
That is a really cool one.
Yeah.
I've been to the San Diego Safari Park, and it's a
really
beautiful
cool.
area.
It is a beautiful area. And I love, animals just know,
Yeah.
So that is really cool that God provided them with that instinct to do that kind of thing. But it was really cool to see that on camera. So yeah, go do a Google search for that. You'll find it. It's really cool. After a wedding ceremony, an Arizona couple were having photos taken, but the photographer's camera was soon lost in the water of Tempe Town Lake. The photographer fell into the water, and while he wasn't injured, he dropped the camera equipment. I was not worried about the camera, but I was worried about the memories. Fortunately, the Tempe Fire Department's diving team had already planned to hold a training session at the lake.
Well,
and
that's convenient.
they decided to use the opportunity to look for the camera. After more than an hour of searching, just as they were about to call it off, a diver found the camera.
How deep was the water?
I don't know. Every photo of the wedding was actually saved. I think that's the best wedding gift we could have gotten, said the bride. Wouldn't you think that would wreck the camera?
Oh, yeah.
And everything.
The best wedding gift would have been not to fall in the lake in the first place and have to worry about it.
Certainly would have. Ooh, that photographer, wonder if he got paid. Okay, here the TikTokers are out at it again. This one, they say, it's like yogurt, but unhealthy. TikTokers are now eating frosting from the jar.
Ew.
Yeah, you is right. Her video has 11 million views, and frosting videos.
Why people?
I know. Videos have become even more popular, but it seems like some viewers are in it for the sound, not the taste. There is a larger audience, and the crunch is really good with the sprinkles and creaminess of the icing. Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of stupid people. On the
Yeah,
internet.
just what I want to hear is other people eating. No thanks. Unfortunately, eating large quantities of frosting, shocker, comes with a number of risks. There's no fiber to help to slow how quickly your blood sugar is increasing. So your blood sugar, they say, will spike much more quickly.
Get the beaties.
Yeah, exactly. And it could potentially lead to excessive nausea, bloating, GI issues overall, and just plain old fat.
they need to do I think Wilford Brimley has passed, but they need to do him with a tear coming down his eye with Sarah McLachlan's In the Arms of an Angel.
Yep, I think so. Well, anyway, yeah, that's the last one. Eating frosting from the jar. Now, if it was peanut butter, I could maybe find myself, in on that deal. But that would be fattening too. But at least it would be protein, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of sugar. Because, of course, I like the sugary peanut butter instead of the kind that you have to mix up. Ugh. The kind that just tastes like peanuts. There's no sweet in it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
I gotta I know, I got to have the sweet. Okay, time for trivia?
Oh, yes.
These are hard. It involves Einstein, that's why. How did Einstein stay focused? That's pretty wide range.
I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to say coffee.
Playing music.
Oh.
I'd go coffee, too.
Coffee.
What was Einstein's very first job? Again, tough.
Teacher? I got nothing.
A patent clerk.
Oh, okay. I guess I did hear of that.
Okay. And
it's amazing how many of these inventors were once patent clerks.
True.
Thomas Edison.
Yep. One final story to wrap things up on a good note. On April 5th, temperatures were around 40 degrees Fahrenheit when Michigan police were informed that a toddler had gone missing wearing only a diaper. State Trooper Brandon Franklin and his co-pilot Cole Martin set out in a helicopter to use heat-seeking technology to find the child. Fortunately, they located the toddler after 15 minutes of searching. Later on at night, it dropped below freezing, Franklin said. So if no one would have found the child, the outcome would not have been the same. Most likely, the child was reunited with his parents uninjured. So,
wow.
There's your feel good. Oh, can you imagine a toddler getting away in only a diaper and freezing conditions? Yikes. Yeah. So, at home with mom and dad, everybody's good. All right, that is going to wrap up our show on a Wednesday. Our show today and every day is brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Falls Monument Company. Thanks for joining us and have a great Wednesday.